Alright guys, so this video here is going to be about all the problems that we had on the first startup with the Allis, which, to my knowledge, there's only two thus far, but it's ran a grand total of 5 minutes. So, carburetor is leaking gas and leaking through, so that needs to come off. There is a carb kit laying over there somewhere amongst the decals and stuff. And the drive shaft is rattling around. Other than that, everything seems to work. It was charging, but it is hooked up backwards, so I might be able to fix that without taking the dash back off. Because this dash, it seems like the more we touch it, because I put the key switch back in, and of course I got the decal with the pliers, and a little mark down there in it already, so. Alright, so I'm going to get after it. What I think this drive shaft needs, I'm thinking when we took it apart, I don't know. Here's my problem. Alright, switch hands. So, here's what it's doing. So, see, that is moving, and the rubber on this side is not. You guys probably can't see them both, so. Basically, it needs some form of a spacer in there for the drive shaft to actually contact the rubber so it doesn't flap around in there like a wet noodle. So, I'm going to work on that. And we'll go from there. I was going to say it might be easier from this side, but it's still got lift stuff on the road too. Because then, once we get that to work, we'll get it to run right. The deco can go on-o, and we'll see what else we need-o. Comprendo? Aye. I was going to say something else in Spanish, but I don't know what it means, so. Anywho's, that's what we're going to do. Or we're going to do. What I'm going to do. I'm here by myself. It's a rainy night, so good night to monkey with us. Alright boys, so I got the drive shaft to not wiggle anymore. Nice and solid. What I ended up doing was taking, I believe they were 2 3/4 inch fine thread nuts, and I drilled the threads out of them, and they were nylon lock nuts, and that fit perfectly over the shoulders, spacer / shoulder that goes through there, and that clamped down on the rubber to keep it from moving. So, is it a totally permanent fix? I don't know. Is it a temporary permanent fix? Exactly. And I also want to point out, and I don't remember your name off the top of my head, but I do remember a subscriber, and if I'm pretty good, I should be able to snip that out of the screen here and put it here. Said that there is a update kit for these, and I have no idea what it consists of, and I haven't looked it up. Honestly, because this tractor isn't mine, this is kind of like one of them charity deals, you know, do it as good as you can for as cheap as you can. So, upgraded, no. Fixed, maybe. It's definitely different. So, is it fixed? I don't know. So anyhows, got that going for me. I don't know if I'm going to get into the carb tonight or not. I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. I think I'm going to go in and edit some videos. And the end of the week, I go away to West Virginia to a buddy of mine's wedding. So, that should be fun. And if this video doesn't go up before then, maybe there'll be a picture here of that. If not, I'm just randomly pointing at the screen for no reason. So, alright guys. So, as good as it can be for the moment. I would just set the battery terminal on and turn it over, but I can't because the battery's unhooked. So, anywho's, I guess when the boys come over one day and we get back after it, we'll get back after it. Alright boys, this would be what you call catastrophe. So I was trying to start this off camera and it backfired or did something, and needless to say, one of two things happened. Either it sheared the flywheel keyway, which it's very possible I didn't tighten the nut on the flywheel when it got put back together because I didn't put the tins and stuff on the motor. So I think that's what happened. Or hopefully the crank isn't broke, because the back isn't connected to the front anymore. So Anyhow, we gotta yank the motor back out of this thing. Great. Grand. Alright, so instead of complaining about it, I'm just gonna get after it here. Unfortunately, we have to undo about everything we did. I'm gonna unbolt the front grill piece, all one assembly, take it off. Unbolt the motor, unbolt the drive shaft. I haven't decided on the cables yet. There might be enough slack in this. I can just slide it forward, but I may pick it off and put it on the bench. I don't know. This is really annoying. So, stupid mistake. Cost you a lot in the long run, but I'm happy it happened here and not after it was completely done running and on its way to the first show that it's supposed to run. So, anywho's, I'm going to get after it. I'm not going to do much filming. I'll show you guys what happened when I get it apart, and we'll go from there. Okay? Okay. And on a side note, I just come back from my buddy's wedding last night. It was 11:50 when I got home last night, so but this was on my mind all weekend, and I want to get this tractor as a whole done and out of here. So this has to happen. Get the other guys to come up here. They're gonna finish the paint and all that other jazz. So anyhow, without further ado, I've said it 9 times. Let's get after this. So boys, that's definitely the problem for sure. I haven't loosened any of the bolts back here, and taking this off with my fingers. And also, as I suspected, like I said, top-notch tractors didn't look at anything when he started bolting that on, because this is supposed to go on here with 2 bolts and lock this nut to the flywheel. So that is what happened. That's what happens when you have too many cooks in the kitchen sometimes. Stuff starts getting missed, and then you start having problems, and here we are. So, alright, I gotta get the rest of the shroud bolts out, get the shroud off, get the flywheel off again. See what style keyway this has. I don't remember if it's a straight key or... I'm thinking just had this little pointer deal. Since we're not using the original ignition, it's not super critical where the flywheel is at, although it balances it. So if we line it back up, well, the only thing I don't like is everything is driven off of the flywheel on this motor. So this connection needs to be good. So irregardless, I'm going to have to come up with some kind of keyway for this and go from there. So I'll bring you guys back, see what I find for sure. But I'm about 99.9% sure that is a problem right now. And now that it's spun on there, it'll be easier for it to spin again. So, okay. Quit dwelling in the past and let's move forward, shall we? Here we go. So boys, here's what I think I'm going to try and do. I think I'm just going to try and slot the holes in this. While it is sheared, it's not sheared the whole way. And really all that is a place keeper. When you tighten this nut down, this nut is supposed to be what drives everything up on that taper and locks it in. So, is this cracked? Actually, it's cracked. I know where there's 2 more, but it's not worth it to go and get them. All this is a little piece of steel. Well, I think I'm going to go with plan A, which is, I think I'm going to chuck this up in the, I'll call it the vise on the drill press, and I'll just try and drill off center. I don't need a lot, so maybe that'll go with a little bigger hole or something. I don't know. It is already cracked, which that shows you how much this was doing while we were trying to get it started in the last video. So, alright, be back with you guys. See if I end up losing my fingers doing this. Hopefully not. So, how many of you guys are laughing in the comments section right now? I didn't know this was hardened. A drill bit will just barely touch it. I'll have to look. I don't have any Dremel bits this small, that much I do know. So, I may just have to put it back on there and just send it. That wasn't my first idea, but the other thing I'm thinking is if I flip it, I think that may help some. So let me see what I can Afro-engineer here, and I'll be back. Son of a beach! Alright boys, all I did is I flipped the keyway over, tightened the nut, and I tightened this down for sure this time, and make sure it doesn't move. We're going to put the locking ring back on it and make sure there's bolts in it. I still blame Top Notch Tractors because he put all the stuff on this flywheel, but I never tightened it, so I don't know. I'd have probably looked at it and tightened it, but he'll get that on a big job. So anyhow, what's done is done, and let's go back together with it. So boys, I was wrong about something. This has to actually get tightened down on there, and that is what actually drives is through those two long 5/16 bolts that are over there and the clamping force of this. So I don't know. Guess I can't blame Top Notch Tractors as much. But maybe there's no mark of that not going down on the whole way, so I don't know. I'm wondering if it just all the paint on there has worn off. Well, when I tighten this down, I'm going to make sure it's tight. I don't want to break the bolts, but got to make sure it's good and tight. So, alright. It's funny because these two 5/16 bolts were sitting in the from this tractor pile. Come on. Well, the camera's recording, of course. Nothing will work, but anywho's, so I'm going to take these out, put the long ones in, and put that back on, and see what happens. I think old Alice was just finally ready to give up the ghost. Motor runs fairly decent. It's going to need some fine tuning, and some of this, maybe this carburetor is just total thumbs down. I did clean it, but it's still weeping gas around the top, which is weird. There shouldn't be gas up there anyhow, but I don't know. I did see this. I wanted to see it. Doesn't really stop it, but you know, might as well keep the belt tight. But it did charge at least a second ago. Right about there, it's still charging 5 amp maybe. Okay. Something weird with this key switch. It's not going to do it now, I got the camera out, but if you monkey with the key switch, it'll quit charging and lose spark. Alright guys, I'm going to have to crack a door or something. But I think old Alice is finally ready to get put together here.